Welcome back to the Greenhouse Music Podcast.
Best music class you've ever heard. It's the best music class you've ever heard.
It's Miss Delana.
I have to know, have you ever wondered what would happen if you could play an instrument without ever touching it? Well, no strings, no keys, no blowing, just your hands waving through the air, and music just comes out of whatever instrument it is. That's a real instrument, folks. It exists, and it's just one of the strange, wonderful, slightly spooky, absolutely incredible instruments that we are exploring today. So, welcome back to the Greenhouse Music Podcast, music makers. I am Miss Delana, and I'm ready to give you another lesson from the best music class you've ever heard. Let's get started. By the end of this episode, you're going to know 4 instruments that most grown-ups have never, ever heard of. And you're going to understand the big secret that ties them all together. Let's get growing on that musical knowledge. Here's the big idea I want you to hold on to for the whole episode. Are you ready for it? Anything that vibrates can make music. That's it. That's the secret. If it wiggles in the air, a string, a drum skin, a metal bar, a glass rod, even a wobbly saw, your ears can catch that wiggle and turn it into sound. Most instruments you know use the usual wigglers: guitar strings, piano hammers, a trumpet's buzzing lips. But some inventors looked at the world and thought, what if I made music out of something that nobody's tried before? Let me introduce you to the first of the 4 of them. Here it is, the theremin. Picture Russia. About 100 years ago, a young scientist named Leo Theremin is building electronic gadgets, and he notices something strange. When he moves his hand near his equipment, it makes a tone. Move closer, higher pitch. Move away, lower pitch. So he built an instrument out of it. 2 antennas, one for pitch and one for volume. And you play it by waving your hands in the air, never touching a thing. That's our no-touch instrument from the opening that I mentioned. Did you know that the theremin is the reason old space movies sound so spooky? Theremin creates this wavering, ghostly sound, and that's the hands of the musician dancing, waving in the air. Here's the second instrument, the waterphone. This one looks like a metal bowl with rods sticking out of the top, and there's water sloshing inside it. You bow the rods like a violin, and as the water moves, the sound bends and moans. If you've ever watched a scary movie and heard a sound so creepy you grabbed a pillow, well, friends, that was very possibly a waterphone. Have you ever heard a sound that gave you the shivers? Well, that's part of the waterphone's whole job. Now that's the kind of beat I could get behind. I might have to add that to another song one day. Okay, for our next instrument, we have the cristal baschet. Now picture this, rows and rows of glass rods, and you play them with your wet fingers. Kind of reminds me of another instrument I might have to remember to talk about later. You rub them like you would rub the rim of a glass at a dinner table to make it sing. Did you know you could do that? Well, 2 brothers in France invented it. It shimmers, it glows, and it sounds kind of like starlight, if starlight made a sound. Now, this next one's pretty cool, but mostly because it seems like it's an everyday object, but it makes a vibration, right? So this one is a regular handsaw, the kind that you would cut wood with. You bend it into a curve, drag a bow across a smooth edge, and it sings. This high, floating, kind of ghostly voice. A tool from the garage turned into music? Take a listen and tell me what you think. All right, I had to add a bonus instrument, mostly because this one's kind of cool and it will remind you of another instrument you learned about today. Have you ever ran wet fingers around the rim of glass at dinner and made it sing, kind of like I mentioned earlier? Well, of course you probably have, right? Right? Okay, maybe I haven't even done that yet, but I know that it's possible. Over 250 years ago, a very famous American had the exact idea of taking fingers, wetting them with water, and running them over crystal. And he built a whole instrument out of it. And that is Benjamin Franklin. Yes, that Benjamin Franklin. The kite and lightning helped start a country, Benjamin Franklin. Well, in 1761, he took a whole row of glass bowls, big to small, slid them onto a spinning rod, and played them with wet fingers. And he called it the glass armonica. Armonica from the Italian word for harmony. Of all the things Franklin ever invented, he once said that the glass harmonica gave him the greatest joy of all. Not the lightning rod, not his famous glasses, the one that sings. It's kind of special, huh? But here's the wonderfully weird part, music bankers. The glass harmonica sounds so strange, so floating and ghostly, that back then people got scared of it. Some believed that eerie sound could make you dizzy or even drive you mad. A few towns actually banned it. I know. Was it really magic? No. Scientists today think that the sound just sits in a strange place where our brains have a hard time telling where it's coming from, so it feels otherworldly, kind of like other instruments that we've learned about today. But your ears aren't fooling you. It really is one of the most haunting, beautiful sounds ever made. Now here's a reflection question for you. 5 instruments. One is electronic. Have water. One has glass rods. One a saw. One a spinning glass bowls. All invented, and that last one by a founding father. What do all 5 of them have in common? They all found a brand new way to make something vibrate, move. The same secret in 5 wild answers. Okay, music makers, you've met the weirdest instruments in the world, but do your ears remember them? It's time to play Name That Weird Sound. Here's how it works. I'm going to give you a sound and 3 choices. Your job? Point at the air, shout at your speaker, whisper to the person next to you, and guess which weird instrument is making that sound. One little fun fact about this, I'm going to use real songs that feature these individual instruments. You might even recognize some. All right, let's get going. Okay, did you figure out what instrument that one was? The main one that we could listen to through the whole thing. You heard it right? Well, here's a little clue. Did that song kind of sound like it might take place in space? There was one instrument I mentioned at the beginning that they use a lot for aliens in space. Which one was that? The singing saw? The theremin? Or the waterphone? What's your guess? That was the theremin. So if you guessed that one, you are correct. That is the main theme song from Star Trek, the original one. They used a theremin in that song, and it's a pretty famous one too. All right, here's our next one. So this one, so smooth, so glossy, almost like angels humming. Is it the A, glass harmonica, B, the waterphone, or C, the singing saw? That one is A, the glass harmonica. Benjamin Franklin's spinning glass bowls, sound people once thought was magic. All right, here comes our final round. Are you ready? Now, that one was performed in an Atlantic subway station. Kind of sounds like someone's almost singing. I wonder if that's a clue. So which one do you think it was? A, the crystal baschet, B, the singing saw, or C, the waterphone? That one is B, the singing saw. How cool is that? It does almost sound like someone's singing. It's very old country-ish. I really like it. So how did your ears do, music makers? 3 weird sounds, and now you know them. That's the sign of a real musician, not just hearing music, but listening to it. Speaking of listening to, I need to tell you what I've been listening to this week. It's actually been the glass harmonica. Right now, I'm studying a piece that was written by Amadeus Mozart. Recognize that name? That's right. He wrote a song for the instrument, the glass harmonica, the one that Benjamin Franklin invented. And I've been listening to it a lot so that I can learn how to play it. And it's been a fun way to study the song. Here's a little bit of a listen for you. Now, of course, I don't actually have a glass harmonica, but you can play the song on the piano too, which is how I'm learning it. So what are you listening to this week? In fact, I might have a mission for you. When you hear one of these instruments, like the theremin, close your eyes and ask yourself, does this sound happy, spooky, or sad? One instrument, it can create so many feelings. So try listening for the emotion. It doesn't even have to be one of the ones I mentioned today. Do it for any instrument you might hear, like a guitar. All right, if today made your brain buzz, go back and listen to a couple of the episodes that connect beautifully with it. Try our episode on the Bauer family if you missed that one from 2 weeks ago, because those musicians took ordinary brass instruments and did something extraordinary, just like our inventors today took ordinary stuff and made it sing. But wait, there's more. There's 2 other episodes that you can go back and listen to. One is from season 1, episode 12, A Musical Journey with Camille Saint-Saëns. Camille actually did a song that includes the glass harmonica, and it's a pretty cool one too. But my favorite episode that I'm excited to tell you about is actually a mystery. It's from season 2, episode 71, called 5 Clues, 1 Secret Music Inventor. Can you solve it? And you'll be able to play a Guess Who game. And that's one that I really want you to listen to. So go ahead, go have some fun. Here's our little takeaway for today. I want you to carry this with you. Every single one of these instruments started with a person who looked at something ordinary, a glass rod, a saw, a bowl of water, and asked, I wonder what sound this can make. So here's your creative challenge. Sometime this week, I want you to invent an instrument. A rubber band stretched over a box, a row of glasses with different amounts of water, a spoon on a jar, anything that vibrates or moves. Well, you can give it a name, play it for someone you love, and call it an instrument. And here's my thoughtful question to sit with. What ordinary thing in your house is secretly waiting to become music? You are curious, aren't you? Well, you are also creative and you can be an inventor. And I believe in you and I can't wait to hear what you discover. So don't forget to let me know. All right, friends, that's our episode. And if you loved learning about these wild and wonderful instruments, share it with a friend. And ask a grown-up to leave us a rating. It helps more music makers find the greenhouse. This has been a Greenhouse Music Podcast, the best music class you've ever heard. So keep your ears open, and the world is full of undiscovered sounds. Bye for now, friends. See you in a couple weeks. Hey parents, do you want a free worksheet or book or page to go along with the lesson that your kids learned today? Head on over to green.myflowdesk.com/podcast to get our newsletter that will have a new worksheet or lesson to go along with each new episode. That's green.myflowdesk.com/podcast. The link is also available in the podcast description on each episode.